point, it's time for our top 10. Coming in at number 10, it's Herbalife, up almost 7%. Carl Icahn announcing that 2 of his representatives will be joining the board of the nutrition company, which has been caught in the middle of an investor activist showdown. I spoke exclusively with Mr. Icahn immediately after that news broke, and he told me he was interested in raising his stake to 25% and that he thanks short seller Bill Ackman for providing a good buying opportunity in these shares. You can watch the entire interview right now at Bloomberg.com.
And an excellent interview it was indeed, Trish. Cablevision down almost 9%. The U.S. cable provider is dropping the most in almost 4 months after Superstorm Sandy's devastation led to a fourth-quarter operating loss. Sandy knocked out power to almost 2 million customers and added over $110 million in costs.
All right, well, number 8, not a good day for Groupon, down 24%. Now, the stock is slumping the most since November after forecasting sales that missed estimates. And this only underscores the challenges facing CEO Andrew Mason. Guys, remember, the board already considered replacing him back in November.
Number 7 is Mylan, up 4%. The second biggest generic drug maker has agreed to buy the injectable medicine unit of Arcolab. The deal totals $1.6 billion and will further Mylan's push into the global biotech drug market.
And let's talk about Sears, down almost 6%. The retailer posting a fourth-quarter loss that was larger than it had forecast. Sales falling for the 6th consecutive year as Sears' new CEO scrambles to raise online sales and customer loyalty.
And number 5, not a public company, but worth talking about nonetheless. Girls Gone Wild Brands, the company behind the Girls Gone Wild video, is filing for bankruptcy to protect itself from $10.3 million debt. The debt is being claimed in part by casino mogul Steve Wynn's Wynn Las Vegas. I don't know if I'm going to shed any tears, guys, about losing out.
I might, actually.
You and Matt Miller. Matt Miller must be so disappointed he's not here to discuss this.
I'm amazed that they couldn't fork over. They couldn't come up with $10 million to pay off Steve Wynn, and it's resulting in bankruptcy for the company. I mean,
well, stay tuned. If they can find a buyer for Polaroid patents, Kodak patents, and Hostess patents,
become like nostalgic,
they can find a buyer for this.
Wild.
Yes.
Optimistic Adam.
Yes, I'm an optimist.
Number 4 is Best Buy, down almost 1%. The stock was tumbling today on a report put out by the Star Tribune that the founder, Richard Schultz, is abandoning his bid to take over the company. At one point, the stock had fallen over 5%, the most it's fallen since February.
And Barnes & Noble up 4% despite the news that the company saw a surprise loss in the third quarter during what is usually its most profitable time period. Barnes & Noble reporting 26% drop in Nook sales, which had been the company's only growing segment.
All right, number 2, Limited Brands up almost 3%. The owner of Victoria's Secret is reporting that fourth quarter net income is up 14% on increased sales. There's the video. Revenue rose 10% to $3.86 billion, and the company plans to open its first 2 lingerie stores in Hong Kong later this year.
All right, brings us to our number 1 stock of the day, and it is J.C. Penney. J.C. Penney tumbling more than 16%. Shares are sliding the most in more than 3 decades. The department store chain lost $4.3 billion in sales in the first year of CEO Ron Johnson's turnaround plan. In the earnings call, Mr. Johnson admitted to making some, quote, big mistakes.